Okay, good evening everybody, and welcome back to Press Play. Tonight, we are going to be at least trying to get to the end of the game. I can't guarantee we'll actually finish it, but we are now inside Ganon's tower, or Ganon's castle, and we will be doing our best to find him, track him down, and uh, wrest Hyrule from his grasp. So, uh, interesting. As we're walking down the hallway here, I forget what I might have said last time. I know we were kind of getting to the end. We're seeing kind of a skull pattern here, and then a Triforce pattern on the braziers. Then more Triforces on these stands here. Which I guess makes a certain amount of sense. Throughout the game we've been associating the Triforce with the royal family, but it is I mean, the Triforce has been Ganon's goal as well, and after obtaining it, then it is kind of a symbol of his power, so... Or at least after obtaining part of it. So you might remember we got this far last time, and we have 6 rooms, I believe. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. Should be 2 more in the back. Each one associated with a seal of one of the sages. Oh, or maybe 5. I guess which one's missing? Oh, wait, no, I just missed the shadow. Went over there. So, okay, so 6 of them. And each one corresponding with a seal. And I'm kind of curious whether... I guess somehow Ganon is using... It's like siphoning off power from the sages or something, or the seals, and we'll have to get through them to break through to his area. And what's this? Can't grab it even though it says to. So, I think I was trying to look up before what I wanted to do, because there's still one thing. The orders shouldn't be too terribly important, but there are a couple that need to come before others. And I think what I want to do is head for the shadow room first. As I think this is the one that'll give us something that will help us get an additional goodie. Okay. So, large empty room. If we recall, the Shadow Temple had a lot of hidden platforms, so I'm guessing that's what's going on here. Except no. So, instead, let's... well, first let's see if we can hookshot over this chest. That might be... 5 rupees, great, especially when we're already at max rupees. So I do see an unlit torch over there. Let's use our fire arrows, see if we can light it. And okay. We have a ticking timer, which means we are on a time limit. Doesn't appear to be too tight. And... okay, well, that's less than helpful. There's a hidden path, but Not seeing a hidden path here, so I don't know if we need the hover boots or if we need to set this thing again. Let's... Okay, good. Here. Okay, that's... Okay, so we'll need that to get down there. And this was a... Oh. Seems like a needlessly dangerous... What? Oh. Seems like needlessly dangerous path here. I mean, it's already invisible. You couldn't at least have made it a bit straighter. Especially with the way the camera controls work in this game. The question is, do we even need to get that? I guess I'll go down there just to see what's there. Okay. Link, that is... Just had to step off. You didn't have to dive halfway across the map. No, thank you. Okay. Let's see if we can... You know what I should be doing? Instead of slashing at these, just pick them up, throw them in the middle, and I already got those, so... I really don't want to... I don't want to tempt the timer. Uh-oh. Oh, phew. Just managed to make it good. Hey, we got the golden gauntlets. We can feel even more power coursing through our arms. Grab with A to lift stuff up. And, oh, they look rather stylish with the Zora tunic. They don't really match our mirror shield, though, but... So it was a good thing we went down and got that, because I believe the gold gauntlets are actually required in order to win the game. Ah, that... Oh. And then, what are you... What are you here for? Oh, okay, that... Rather than shooting all the way back to the first one, we could have just shot this one instead. Okay. Okay, good. Okay, don't walk into it. Gonna guess, since we have to get... I think the purpose of the light arrows is to get rid of barriers and such, so let's see if that works here. That is what we do. Alright. Oh, maybe when the The shadow barrier is dispelled. Please save the princess. Maybe when Ganondorf kidnapped the princess, he was also able to uh, imprison or somehow do something to the sages as well. Okay, well, that's one down. That's not too bad, but before we go any further, I'm actually going to take a quick detour out of the castle. I know, Navi thought that we were coming here, that we were actually going to stay in the castle. No, of course we're going to go off and do something else first. But don't worry, this shouldn't take too long. And that having a turn in the bridge over nothingness right after exiting, that is not very safe design. Considering the sages made this for us, why didn't they just take it out to the other bank there that's directly in front so we could have had a straight shot? Okay, you might remember this is where we found our last Skulltula. And down here, now that we have our gold gauntlets, check this. Very helpful, Navi. That's really necessary check there. And that's, I guess, the Hylian version of a caber toss. Last Great Fairy. Okay. Welcome, I am the Great Fairy of Courage. I'm going to enhance your defensive power. Receive it now. Just mirrored that cutscene seemed to be about twice or 3 times as long as it really needed to be. Alright, your defensive power is enhanced. Your defensive power has been enhanced. Damage inflicted by enemies will be reduced by half. Thank you, that's actually very useful. And I'm afraid, no, I'm not going to come back and see you. But, as you can see now, our heart containers have little white borders indicating that we're taking less damage from enemies now. Those fairies are pure nightmare fuel. Yes, fortunately, I think we only have to put up with them for one more game, and then Nintendo wisely changed their design. Here we go. Okay. Interesting. Why is there a walkway from there to there? I don't know if we go through the blue door, will we come out the top? Let's find out. I wouldn't think that would be the way to progress because there is a door over there, or a bridge over there. At least not. It's not like I don't think we're gonna do this room and then find ourselves there and then find out we have to redo the room to get back up there. Okay, so Let's get a few things of... Okay, this was a freezy chest. Are you a freezy chest or are you a real chest? Hey, we recovered the heart we lost from the freezy chest. Good. There are going to be so many disappointed great fairies. Oh, what? Why? Because we're not going to come back and visit them again? Well, maybe they need to try to make some more friends, and I don't know, it's a little harsh to say they need to change their image, but considering that other great fairies have managed to pull off both the powerful and the not creepy look. There's... Whoop. Okay. Oh. Yes. Alright, these fairies we like. Alright. I guess we can't see what those fairies are wearing since they just appear to be a small ball of light, so it's entirely possible that they're dressed exactly the same way as the great fairies, just in miniature. Okay, what are we... So we have this. Where are we trying to get that block to? Probably there. Right? I think I wasn't supposed to put that one in the hole first. This one was probably supposed to be the one that went in the hole. So, okay. Let's see if exiting the room and re-entering resets the puzzle. Okay, yeah. This is what we're supposed to do, I think. Do this way. And that way. Okay, sorry about that. Little hiccup with my air conditioner. No, don't. There we go. I was afraid the fairy was gonna fly into me and I'd use it before I could catch it in a bottle. Which still seems a little morally dubious to me that we're just... I mean, especially, you know, as irritating as Navi's been, she's clearly a sentient being, and which would seem to indicate that the other fairies are as well. And we're just kind of capturing them in their bottles until we have a use for them. Just treat them like an item. On the other hand, we've already seen that Hyrule had an entire temple devoted to, like, death and shadow and whatnot, so maybe it's all part of the implication that Hyrule is not quite so great and upstanding as we like to think it is. Okay, this one should be Ruto. Okay. The water barrier is dispelled. Hurry up. Actually rather fitting for her. Okay, we'll just continue around. Ooh, what do we have here? More rupees? Called it. Okay, so let's see. I think we just do this. So I'm trying to think. So the Shadow Temple we had, or the Shadow one we had some hidden platforms, and some platforms on timers, and the hidden platforms especially were a big feature of the Shadow Temple. Well, these things were also in the Shadow Temple, and now here they are in the Forest Seal, but the water one didn't have to do with the Water Temple as much, but did have to do with the okay. Maybe I want this to be blowing. Okay, yeah, there we go. Okay, I need to figure out how I'm going to get that. It did have to do with the ice cave, which you might remember was how we gained access to the water temple. Okay, I need to figure out how I'm going to get that one up there. The rest of these seem fairly easy. Now maybe it's that button down there will do something. Okay. What did that do for me? Ah, there we go. So, let's see, it's interesting that here we have these wind things that, again, we saw in the Shadow Temple, when the Forest Temple, I believe, was primarily the hookshot and the bow were our main thing, so I'm surprised we didn't have more archery stuff. I mean, we're going to be firing an arrow here, but I don't think this really counts, considering we're doing this for all of the rooms. I have to admit, I'm also a little bit surprised, considering how important the Ocarina has been. Oh, just a second. The forest barrier is dispelled. Hurry up. Okay, they're all telling me to hurry up. considering how important the ocarina has been in all the songs and everything, I'm surprised that none of the trials so far have really had any had us play music at all. I guess that wasn't really a theme of the temples themselves. Okay, this is fire. Which fire we had the megaton hammer. Ow. I don't remember quite so many traps, but I guess they are rather fitting. There we go. This side so that I don't accidentally walk into that one. Okay. That didn't help. Let's try shooting that thing. Well, that didn't. Ah. Let's try. There's a hole in the top. Let's try these. Oh. Okay, that pretty significant indication right there. Just suddenly realized we're in the fire. This is the fire room, wasn't it, or was this spirit? It's seeming a bit more like spirit with the bomb shoes, and I can see one of the sun designs over there. Either way, these little candelabras are interesting. I don't know that we've seen those much. Okay, now this is spirit. I was mistaken before. Okay, so let's see. We have suns. Well, I think we can just fire a. I think we can just fire a light arrow at these to power them. I'm just gonna check that out, but then I want to do it the way I don't think that's the intended way to do it. Oh, maybe you can't. Not in this one, at least. So we'll have to do it the intended way, anyway. Okay. Put my sword away, because this sword I can't use with a shield. Okay, no. Up. Are all of these going to be these guys if I guess wrong? Okay, let's try this one. There we go. Just to make sure. I think it has to be an arrow of light. I don't think like a normal arrow is going to do it, is it? Nah. It's Nabooru. The spirit barrier is dispelled. Hurry up, kid. So I forget what Impa called us, but Rudo didn't call us anything. Sorry I used our name, and Nabooru just kid. So. Let's see what's on the ground floor real quick. Would have thought there'd be something down here, but maybe not. Ah, there is. Knew with a large open space like this, there should be lots of fairies and Deku shrubs, or I guess these are business. These are business shrubs. They're the ones that if we deflect their shots back at them, they'll try to sell us stuff. I don't really need anything from you at the moment. Just want these fairies, and you guys can stay. How did you even get into Ganon's castle in the first place? That seems very odd. Okay, so now let's do... I'm guessing this is the Seal of Light. Link, that's... The boulders that fell around you were still large enough to do some serious damage. That was very reckless. Okay, let's see. Skulltula is our greatest foe. Somehow we managed to defeat it. I think managing to take out a gold, well, it wasn't a gold Skulltula, but a Skulltula without taking any damage, regardless of what happens after that, this has been the real achievement of the night. And we've also faced pits and only fell in them a couple times. I think Link's really improved quite a bit. Is this a Freezy trap? Yep. Okay, well, I see a Triforce on the floor, so that probably indicates Song of the Royal Family. Here we're getting to play the ocarina. Oh wow, this is still going on. Okay, okay. Okay, probably that one. What is keeping those boulders rolling? Oh, well, not Link. Ow. Okay, I'm trying to... Ow. Okay, that's not what I want to do. Let me see if I can just get out of here real quick. Ow. There we go. Phew. Oh, there's... Ah. Ah, there's a false room in front of the real room. The light barrier is dispelled. Hurry! Okay. So I think we need, what, 2 more? Or 1 more? No, I think it's actually only 1 more. Nice. Oh. Okay, let's do this. As nice as much as I like our stylish blue tunic, red one's going to be more useful in here. Ow. Okay. Let's just try to get one safe spot to another at the moment. Ooh. Somehow managed to avoid getting burned by that thing. And knocked into the lava. Okay, so let's see. There's a lifty thing there. This we can probably get from here with the boots, I think. Unless there's... Okay, let's hope this is the case. Nope, it was not the case. Interesting, I'm not sure what we're supposed to do to get there then. Because if that's too far away, then maybe we could get here from here? But then, where would we go? Unless... I think I know. Okay. Nope, don't want that. Didn't we have a time limit before? Oh. Never mind. The time limit was when we had the Zora tunic on. That was probably just indicative of how long we could stay in here without succumbing to the heat. Now that we have the Goron tunic, there's no worries. tend to throw these things behind us, so I wonder if this will make a platform we can stand on. There we go. Okay. Okay. Then... okay, we're gonna have to go there, and then very quickly... okay, it's gonna be a speed test to see if we can get the hook shot off before this thing sinks. There we go. Ooh. Just made it. It's Darunia. The fire barrier is dispelled. Hurry up, brother. Alright, is that the last barrier? It is. Okay, so we need to go around. Really don't want to waste my arrows. Ow. Okay. Okay, so the design has changed a little bit. Now we just have kind of just rather plain gray walls with these reddish stones in the top and bottom. And the music, I think, sounds a little bit like the boss music we've heard. We've heard this music before. I don't remember if it was during a boss battle or during some cutscenes. Sounds like someone is knocking. You might have been hearing the key swings. They were pretty loud when the bats were in the room. Or it could have been the... These guys have pretty heavy footsteps, so it could have been like the Lizalfos when we were fighting them. Alright, we got the boss key. Okay, ooh, 2 of these guys. Not gonna lie, I activated both of them because I was kind of hoping maybe they'd hit each other. That doesn't appear to be the case. Um, these walls are more greenish. Now we're back to these walls. And what will we find behind the door? Oh, this looks like stained glass. Interesting. Okay, there's another door out to the right. Let's... If video games have taught me anything, it's when you see a boss door and then you see a whole bunch of restoration items, you're probably going to need them. Oh. Seems to have gotten dark a bit. Which is odd because this stairway actually has lots of windows on it. Alright. What's so surprising? I didn't know Ganon knew how to play the organ. Okay, so signifying the 3 Triforce wielders have been brought together. Why didn't that happen when Ganon came and took Zelda away while we were present? Oh, you think Link's footsteps are what you were hearing? Yeah, that might be it. He has kind of a heavy footfall as well. The Triforce parts are resonating. They are combining into one again. The 2 Triforce parts that I could not capture on that day 7 years ago. I didn't expect they would be hidden within you two. And now, finally, all the Triforce parts have gathered here. It was Ganondorf the whole time. Oh, that wasn't supposed to be a reveal, I guess. These toys are too much for you. I command you to return them to me. Oh, I can't help you because of the ways of darkness. I can't get close. That's okay, Navi. You were never much of a help anyway. I'm sorry. Great King of Evil, Ganondorf. Okay. Oh, okay. Okay, that's, okay, let's... Okay. So we need to play ping pong with him, which I think means I'm going to want the Master Sword, actually, because it swings a little bit faster than the, Biggoron Sword. Okay. Don't mess with me, Ganondorf. I'm reasonably talented at ping pong. I mean, not that last one, but... Ooh, that was close. Had enough yet? Or am I supposed to do something after I hit him, maybe? Maybe I'll try shooting a light arrow next time. Ow. Okay, the next time. His shots are getting faster, I think, which I think means that the fight is progressing, at least. Okay, let's... Ah. Okay, well... Oh, come on, I hit that. Like how we're both grunting when we hit it. Hey, ping pong is exhausting. Oh, great. Well, since I'm down here. I already used up all these, so they don't have anything. Great. Okay. Sorry, be up there in just a moment. If you're impatient, it's really your own fault for having our battle over such a deep pit. Okay, that one was my fault. I'll admit. That was a bad jump on my part. Okay, but you have to admit it is you kind of made it a little bit tricky to get over to a safe spot. There we go. Well, come on. How am I... Just a second, let me get to a spot where I'll be able to... Navi, I thought you said you couldn't help me. Why am I still hearing you then? Okay, this is gonna get a little dicey. Can I actually make it over to where he is? Oh, come on. I did it 3 times. That should be enough to... Well... Nope. I guess we'll try normal arrows. Hopefully I don't actually need the light arrows to be able to damage him. Okay. Okay. Ow. That was... Excuse me, sir. Nope, nope. Okay, this is, We're gonna have to do this, I guess, try entirely by bow, because I don't think I can jump over to him anymore. Uh-oh. I have maybe 1 light arrow left. Okay. So what does Navi actually have to say about him? Ganondorf the Evil King. I have no idea what his weak point is. Again, didn't you say you couldn't help me? Why don't you go do that some more, please? Okay, this is unfortunate, because I don't... I'm not sure I can actually hurt him anymore. I don't have light arrows, and these ones don't seem to do anything. When he's in the air, at least. I don't have any way of recovering magic. I'm gonna give it another cycle or two, because usually, in later games at least, when you have these kinds of battles that require a certain item, you'll have ways of getting it, you know, if you run out. So I want to see if he'll, if I do another couple cycles and don't fire light arrows at him, get like a source of magic somewhere. Or if I need to actually exit the tower and completely... Oh, that's new. Okay. So all the entrances and exits are shut off. I mean, him doing a new attack is good. It means that we've made some progress, I guess. Oh, I know what we can do. This might be helpful. Ah, and again, took a bad turn. Oh, stuff falling. That's... Oh wait, no, that was probably just more the floor falling. I was gonna say stuff falling might be a good sign. Some of it might drop magic, but it was just more of the floor, so probably not. Okay, let's see. Ah, and again, bad angle. Okay. Ganondorf, you're really not helping at the moment, you know? Fairy give me magic as well? No. Okay, well. Uh-oh. Let's see, where do we go? Okay, half damage, that's still doing quite a bit. Okay. Okay, if the next one doesn't do anything new, I'm going to look up and see if this is even possible or if I need to try to reset. Okay. Hook shot you? No, okay. Alright. I'm sorry for this. Let me, let me see if what I need to do if I'm out of magic, if it's something I need to reset, or if I'm just missing something. Okay, so yeah, we're gonna have to reset, which means I'm gonna use up all these so that I can actually, because otherwise they'll heal me. So, okay, Ganondorf, just go ahead and kill me, because I don't think there's any way I can. Oh, come on, that was pathetic. This is gonna take. Can't you do like your big attack that does considerably more damage? There you go. Okay, so I didn't realize the stuff that was down there on the floor I probably shouldn't have grabbed on the way up. It's supposed to be so that we could refill. And if I hadn't been using light arrows earlier, when Ganondorf was down, we would have had plenty to keep on hitting him, so. Okay, come on, just a couple more hits. Alright. There we go. Okay, so where do we start? Oh. I think we can safely leave. We already broke the barrier. I'm going to want to... Nocturne Shadow, yep, that's right. Oh. Come on. Hero of Time, I should be able to warp wherever I want. I guess technically I'm not the Hero of Time yet. Once I beat Ganon, I'll be the Hero of Time. Okay, there we go. And before anybody wonders, no, we're not going to visit a Great Fairy, even though our travels have made us weary, because there's a whole bunch of fairies trapped inside Ganon's tower that we can use. Okay. I think when we face them again, it'll go much smoother, though, because kind of got the rhythm now, and we know what we're doing. I think this medicine shop closed until... Oh, we can take care of that. And voila, it's morning. 2 things of green potion. Okay. And we'll get a second green potion. And I'm gonna try to find some magic jars on our way over to Ganon's castle. I'm gonna run through Hyrule Field rather than warp there, just so that we can try to get. I think there's some magic jars in the grass, and we'll do that instead of warping. Just like that. Should be able to get a little more on the way over. Check that patch of grass we were always using for arrows during the Poe hunt. It was somewhere over here. Doesn't seem to reliably have stuff in it. Oh, where is it? Ah, there it is. It's rupees. It's not really what I need at the moment. Oh, hey, Epona. Yeah, you don't have to wait here. You could, like, go run across the grass or head over to Lon Lon Ranch or something while you wait. Oh. Excuse me, sir. I'm going to break some of your pots to see if there's any magic inside. That's a wall. That's still a wall. There we go. That's probably good enough to start with. Especially because I think those pots and stuff we used up will have respawned, so we will be able to refill a little bit, and then once we've refilled, we just won't grab the rest of them, just in case. Oh, I see why they bent it. You'd think that the road would go straight there, but they bent it because this is Rainbow Road, and that's always the most difficult of the Mario Kart courses. Excuse me, I have no quarrel with you guys, just need to catch a few of the fairies here. Alright. And now let me switch to something else, just so don't accidentally use them up. don't think there's any particular need I need to, any particular reason to fight you guys. So the organ music's back. Do we suppose that that means that Ganondorf has repaired that room and gone back to playing the organ? So I have to give him credit for being just very devoted to his music. Okay, let's try to get a few of these pots just to get some okay, rupees I don't really need. There we go. Alright, that should be good to start with. There's a few more down here if we need them. And we have 2 green jars of medicine, so once we use up magic, we'll use that. And anytime we fall down, we'll try to refresh. There we go. This ought to be a little better. I wonder if I should try to kill him, or try to play with the Biggoron sword. Just because that way when I jump over and attack him, it'll do a little bit more damage to him. Okay, can I... Yep, toys are too much for us. Command you to return them to me. Okay, not gonna happen. Navi's gonna continue to not be able to help. And the organ disappeared. Ow. Okay, I was way too early. I think I'm going to want my hover boots, because that'll be a little bit more forgiving on... Okay, Biggoron's sword's not too bad once we get used to it. Okay. It's got to be getting close. Okay. There we go. Alright, a bit better that time. The great Evil King Ganondorf, beaten by this kid. He refers to himself as an evil king. I think that's a pretty significant warning sign right there. Oh. Oh. That stained glass is ruined now. Use the last of your energy to throw a tantrum. Okay. Ganondorf, pitiful man. Without a strong, righteous mind, he could not control the power of the gods. And I mean, how many mortals could control the power of the gods, really? Listen to me, this tower will collapse soon. With his last breath, Ganondorf is trying to crush us in the ruins of the tower. We need to hurry and escape. Please follow me. Okay. Just a second, let me take off my hover boots because something tells me they're going to be more of a hindrance than a help. Okay. Wow, it took out the whole outside wall and turned the stairs into a ramp. Okay, just keep going. I'm right behind you. You don't need to turn around every single. See, if you had just kept running, even if I fell a little behind, you could have done that and been ready by the time I got to you. Okay. I'm sorry, you couldn't open the door because I was 3 inches further away from you. What are you doing over there? Okay. And she just runs across the gaps like she has her own hover boots. Then again, I guess we don't know exactly what she was up to while she was disguised as Sheik, so maybe she did actually go get her own pair of hover boots. Okay. What? Oh. Thank you. Now let's hurry. I don't know, disguising herself as Sheik and helping us learn all the songs and stuff, it seemed like Zelda was taking a more active role. Now she just seems to be the damsel in distress again. How are rocks falling through the roof? I can see the roof intact where the rocks are falling. Where did you come from? And why did you just ignore the princess? Princess, that guy was showing you no respect at all. Just completely ignored you as you ran by. Look out for the turn. Wow. I have to say, it's actually kind of impressive that Ganondorf managed to build that in just 7 years. Especially when most of his servants seem to be, like, brainless, re-dead and whatnot. It's over. It's finally over. I'm 100% certain you're correct about that. I'm sorry I couldn't help you in the battle before. Again, it's okay, Navi. Really wasn't expecting all that much. Okay. What does that sound? I don't know. We already established it's over, so I think we can safely ignore it, right? I mean, it's not like I'm going to walk over here and something's going to happen. Oh, this is unexpected. What, you want to play ping pong again? Because I'm ready for you anytime. Okay, so he's calling himself Ganon instead of Ganondorf. We lost our Master Sword. There's no way he's going to hold me back again. This time we fight together. That'll scare him. Yeah, go get him, Navi. Okay, yeah, I don't have a Master Sword. Fortunately, I do have a second sword. And I need my light arrows. Ganon, I really have no idea what his weak point is. So, unless I missed it, he's just now Ganon. There was no clever title or anything like we've seen from most of the bosses. And so this seems to be kind of an origin of how Ganondorf the man became Ganon the giant pig monster thing that he's been when we fought him in previous games. And usually I think his signature weapon in the other games has been like a trident, which here he has swords, but I did notice the handguards on him make him look rather tridentish. So, there's that. Let's see if we can beat him. Okay. Okay, that is a big slash. Oh, where were all these magic containers before? I think if you didn't have the Biggoron sword, you're supposed to shoot his tail with light arrows. Well, except that didn't do it. I'll try it just to see. Yeah. But I think the Biggoron sword uses a... If it doesn't do more damage, at the very least it's not using up magic. Navi, stay targeting him. Okay. Unfortunately, he's rather slow in this form. There we go. The Master Sword is here. Hurry up. Okay. Probably need the Master Sword to actually beat him. Okay, come on. Swing at me. Oh, there we go. Okay. Well, that's much easier. If I can just shoot you in the face with a light arrow, then go after your tail. Need to learn to stop attacking a little bit sooner. I'm kind of curious why he has a tail, actually, to be honest. And especially why he has a tail that's his weak point. Like, why... If he's using the Triforce of power to transform, you'd think... Give my enemy something to target wouldn't be a high priority of his. There we go. I'm using my power to hold the Evil King. You use your sword and deliver the final blow. Okay. Oh, you stopped. Maybe I should have delivered the final blow. Six sages, now! Ancient creators of Hyrule. Now, open the sealed door and send the evil incarnation of darkness into the void of the evil realm. There's an entire evil realm that we just have a door to? You... Curse you, Zelda. Curse you, sages. Curse you, Navi! Oh. Someday, when this seal is broken, that is when I will exterminate your descendants. Evil Realm is awfully bright, much brighter than I would have expected. As long as the Triforce of Power is in my hand. Thank you. Thanks to you, Ganondorf has been sealed inside the Evil Realm. Thus, peace will once again reign in this world, for a time. All the tragedy that has befallen Hyrule was my doing. I wasn't going to bring it up, but that was kind of a silly plan. But hey, we managed to fix it. That's what's important. I was so young, I could not comprehend the consequences of trying to control the sacred realm. I dragged you into it too. Now it is time for me to make up for my mistakes. You must lay the Master Sword to rest and close the door of time. However, by doing this, the road between times will be closed. Give the ocarina to me. Okay, so first you let Ganondorf out, now you're just demanding that I turn over my possessions? As a sage, I can return you to your original time with it. Okay, I guess in fairness, this was her ocarina to begin with. She tossed it in the moat, and then we took it out. When peace returns to Hyrule, it will be time for us to say goodbye. Now go home, regain your lost time. Home, where you are supposed to be, the way you are supposed to be. Here's the thing. As young Link, I don't really have... I don't have any family. Don't really have many friends. I'm not sure this is really a fitting reward for Link here. So Ganon knows he's not going to be getting around to destroying us anytime soon. He's going after our descendants. Yeah, he apparently knows that he's going to be stuck for a while at least. Thank you, and goodbye. Okay. So we've managed to beat the game. I guess we can spend a little bit of time while the credits roll, kind of going over some stuff. There's a bit to break down in this one. And by all means, if you have any, as usual, if you have any questions or comments or observations as we're going through this, feel free to write them out in the chat. Any contributions appreciated. So, looking at the story for this one, we again saw, as we've seen in the previous games, that we started with the story in the manual. But in this case, rather than the manual story being kind of a setup to the game, it basically just gave us the prelude of the game. That, it told us about Link being, the boy with no fairy, and the Deku Tree sending a fairy to him, and then us getting the spiritual stone from the Deku Tree and him dying. Like that was all in the manual, and basically just covered the initial gameplay for us. So we're starting to see more of the story incorporated into the game itself. Uh, Probably in large part because of the technology making it more convenient to do so, and more possible to do so since space isn't as big of an issue anymore. Oh, there's a new Deku tree. So we're getting Zelda's Lullaby here, or the Song of the Hyrule Family, Royal Family. Also brings up the fact we have seen a lot more cutscenes than we saw in previous games. With the 3D Zeldas especially, I think part of that is technology and being able to have more space. Part of it is just the uh, the 3D graphics themselves being just kind of lending themselves more to cinematic situations than the 2D sprites did. But we're seeing more cutscenes for story. We had like the creation of Hyrule story with the three goddesses. Um, Here's Saria's song. Oh, hey, everybody's cheering the downfall again, and Ingo and Talon are friends again. I guess Ingo's given up trying to take over the ranch. Cool. Wait, I thought the Kokiri couldn't leave the forest. Maybe they can now that Ganon's gone, but I didn't think Ganon was the reason that they couldn't leave before. Hey, she seems to be handling chickens quite well now. Looks like even Biggoron's here. Here we see Mito and King Zora. Both of them are the ones that lost people. Well, I guess Darunia's son kind of lost him too, but because the sages don't seem like they can actually come back. They do seem to be the ones that were hit the hardest. Not sure why being a kid again is quite so big a shock to you, since it's happened several times throughout the game already. Okay. It's a post-credit scene. I think the implication here. Okay, so we did have a question. Did I understand the ending correctly? Is Zelda returning Link to a child? If so, does he retain his memories of being older? I think so, and I think if I'm interpreting this ending correctly, seeing us approaching Zelda as she's looking through the window, um, kind of spying on her dad's court, it seems like we returned as a child not just to when we found the Master Sword initially, but this could be returning even earlier to our initial meeting with Zelda, which makes me think that we probably have our memories of when we're older, and we're going to end up telling her that, hey, gathering the jewels is not a good idea. We need to come up with some other plan and stop Ganon from actually ever obtaining power to begin with. I think that's what I'm kind of getting from this ending. Maybe I'm wrong in that interpretation. Does leave open the question of what does uh, if Ganon never achieves power, then I mean, is there another Link running around, or did the magic take care of that? Are we getting into some kind of time paradox thing? Multiple timelines. Spoiler: in about 10 years or so after this comes out, Nintendo would leap on this moment as a chance to run into multiple timelines. We're not there yet. So I think that's where they're going with the story, though, is that Link went 7 years in the future, beat Ganon, and then now he's coming back into the past, but instead of just living those 7 years that Ganon was gaining power, he's going to Zelda sent him back a little bit earlier so they can stop Ganon from getting the Triforce to begin with. So, uh, which is a good example of what I was saying about having a lot more cutscenes than previous Zelda games, and this one, you know, I was able to get some of that from this without even there was no text or anything, no dialogue, just from seeing that. So, getting a little bit more visual storytelling that way. Uh, we're also starting to see more side quests and optional quests. Um, we had a lot of mini games. We had getting the pose. Um, we had uh, the whole Gerudo trial thing to get the ice arrows, which turned out to not be necessary. Um, ice arrows themselves weren't necessary, just kind of a cool reward. And especially we had the gold Skulltulas, which probably took about as long or longer than the game itself. If we hadn't been going for gold, well, maybe we wouldn't have shortened it considerably if we hadn't gone for gold Skulltulas. But that was a pretty major quest, and even though it didn't tell us a lot afterwards, I mean, it does open up this whole other kind of side story about this family and make us wonder who they are, what's their deal, um, and it just we're kind of getting where we're seeing more of Hyrule than just what's directly in front of us and what directly impacts us. Even a lot of the games, we kind of see these fun pastimes and things of people just enjoying, you know, doing the bomb chew bowling or the uh, horse archery at the Gerudo fortress and everything. We also we saw a lot more um, kind of been seeing this throughout, especially after Link to the Past, but with this one especially, there was a lot of with the gossip stones have all these little rumors and things that most of them don't have any impact on gameplay. It's just to kind of fill in details about characters or locations and things. Just kind of a fun story thing. And note that that itself was the result of um, a side quest doing the masks. And there the main reward from the mask quest was getting the mask of truth and being able to just get all these fun little tidbits and stuff. And then I didn't show it off, but there were also a couple other masks that are just there for people's reactions. Like they don't impact the game at all. So let's see what else do we have. We had the Temple of Time, allowing us to transfer or uh, transfer tra- and try to have allowing us to move between the adult timeline and the young Link timeline. And the fact that it that Hyrule Castle Town in particular is just devastated in the adult timeline, and it's cheerful and bustling in the young timeline. That just kind of helps highlight the differences between the timelines. As does the fact that we have a third-person view of Link, which might not be too surprising um, to a lot of us now, because playing through the series, we've been playing the 2D Zeldas, and of course all of those view Link on the screen as a sprite. It's basically a third-person view of a sort. But especially at the time, a lot of the 3D games like this were first person, where you're seeing through the eyes of the person that you're playing as, because it's much easier to do the camera work and everything like that. It's much harder to have a floating camera behind them, but in this case, they decided to do it because it would helps us see young Link versus old Link. We saw music in this game was much more interactive than in previous games. Um, we had how many, like a dozen different songs. Um, Almost all of them, in fact, I think I can probably say all of them, we used multiple times. Uh, we had the warp songs helped us move around quite a bit, and in general, the fact that we were in control of what songs we were playing. The songs themselves had a lot more different effects. It made music itself feel much more important than than it has in some of the previous games. I mean, we've already seen magical musical instruments and magical songs and things in the previous games, but this one it just kind of really put them front and center, and which I guess makes sense since Ocarina is even in the title. And uh, on on that note as well, I didn't really highlight it as we went through. Probably should have, um, but a lot of the music from the Ocarina songs could also be heard in locations in the game as we were going through them. Probably two of the most recognizable ones were when we went inside the windmill, we could hear the Song of Storms playing, and when we ran through the Lost Forest, we could hear Saria's song playing. There was also we could hear Epona's song, whenever we went to Lon Lon Ranch or a version of it. And I think that kind of connection, using the ocarina songs that we're playing as or at least incorporating them into the background music of many of the locations, it helps make the magic of the helps the music feel like it's more of a natural part of the world, and I guess helps establish that magical connection. That when we're using when we're playing the music, we're affecting the world, and just have that extra bit of connection there. Um, what else? We saw different races have been added. We I guess we kind of saw this in previous Zeldas. Um, as far back as the first Zelda, we did have a Moblin or some Moblins who would give us money. Uh, Zelda 2, we had some people had been changed into bots or what were they called in there? They weren't keys, aches, I think. The bats. Um, those seem to be people transformed, not monsters themselves. Zelda 3, Link to the Past, we did see King Zora and the Zora people, although they seemed very different, much less monstrous this time around. And adding in not just one side race, but having the Zoras and the Gorons and the Kokiri, and then the Gerudo appear human, but they're like a different race of human than the Hylians, and even then it seems odd, something about them that they're predominantly women and only have one male born every 100 years or something like that. So there seems to be some magic about them or something. But just having all these different people or these different people groups, we can we can kind of start getting a little bit of a different view on some of the stories and different goals that not everybody's necessarily doing the same thing. The Kokiri, for instance, weren't really involved much in what was going on outside of the forest, and so we can kind of get a different perspective there. Um, we had uh, they kind of took a similar idea that A Link to the Past had of having the dungeons as young Link and the dungeons as old Link have different goals. In the first three, we were trying to get the spiritual stones. In the adult Link dungeons, we were trying to rescue the sages. And just like I commented when we were doing A Link to the Past, where there we were trying to get the pendants and then free the descendants of the sages in that game. It's ultimately it's the same thing. You're going through a dungeon to achieve your objective, but it does help from a story perspective kind of break up what's going on and highlight the fact that okay, once you're not going for spiritual stones anymore, you're going to rescue sages. The story's shifted. We've made it to a different point now. Um, and then we saw at the very end here, uh, I pointed out, Mido and King Zora, kind of sitting off on their own because, of course, Saria and Ruto have, uh, they're the sages now, and apparently sages can't come back. I think we learned that initially with Darunia wanting us to pass a message on to his son or to some of the other Gorons. And it doesn't seem like they're actually dead, but I guess, there's something about they can't leave the spiritual realm or at least not come back permanently, which kind of follows along in the footsteps of Link's Awakening. Of we have a bit of a bittersweet ending here. Um, we have the happy ending that we've beaten the bad guy, but then there is a feeling of loss. Although unlike Link's Awakening, where of course we learned the truth about the island, uh, what half or two-thirds of the way through, and we kind of had this anticipation building, knowing what was going to happen. Here, I feel like in the moment when we're playing the game, we're not really thinking about the fate of the sages and that loss. Um, we're just like, okay, we rescued a sage, we're moving on to defeat Ganon. Here at the end, now we're finally getting to in retrospective, we're looking back and like, oh yeah, it's kind of sad. So it's we're getting the bittersweet ending, but in a different way than we did before. And speaking of which, similarities to previous games, um, we had some legends have continued. It's taken these and adapting. Again, I don't think it's necessarily continuing previous games, but it does seem to be taking elements and reworking them For instance, in A Link to the Past, we heard about the three gods that created the world. Well, now we're taking them and they're three goddesses, and we actually give them names, and we're associating them with each with one of the portions of the Triforce. We're taking the legend that started in A Link to the Past, and uh, it's more than just fleshing it out, but we're changing it and adapting it to the new story. We saw Impa again, which, if you recall, Impa was one of the original characters from the original Legend of Zelda. We only read her about her in the manual, but she's the one who she was Zelda's nursemaid, and Zelda sent her out to find the hero who would be able to save Hyrule. So she's always had a little bit of an active role, but here it was nice to kind of get to see her take a bit more of a uh, even more active and heroic role. That she didn't just go out and find Link. She was one of the sages. She's the one who rescued Zelda, got her out of the castle um, when Ganon attacked. And I believe we heard from talking to people in Kakariko Village, she was the one who founded Kakariko Village, or at least was kind of an important person there, building it up and protecting it. Um, so it's nice to see that a minor character from the original Legend of Zelda now has a much more full storyline. Um, has gone from just being a nursemaid who runs messages to actually being like full bodyguard and a legitimate hero in her own right. And of course, we also see on that note, we've also seen Zelda, take a more active role, joking at the end that she kind of doesn't do much during the fight with Ganondorf, but she's um, she's part of the trying to plan against him at the beginning. When Impa takes her away during the 7 years that we're kind of stuck in limbo. Apparently, she was doing something because she's disguised herself as Sheik and is running all over Hyrule, actually actively helping. So uh, she's taking on a little bit more of an active role too. And I think in some of the future Zelda games, that's only going to improve uh, from there. And then finally, I know we're a little bit over on time. I just want to hit one more note. I think this kind of sets a um, this is kind of a changing point or turning point of the Zelda series. This a little bit of a spoiler looking ahead at some of the future games, but we know that in a lot of the previous Zeldas, we had Zelda 1 and 2, which were Zelda 2 was a direct sequel of Zelda 1. Zelda 3 kind of reboot the franchise, said didn't really directly reference the previous games, although it borrowed elements. Link's Awakening seemed kind of a sequel to Zelda 3, and then this one again kind of reboot the franchise. It borrowed some elements from previous games, but didn't really directly reference events or anything. From this point on, if I recall correctly, I think most of the Zelda games are going to start trying to be more coherent from game to game. Not that they'll necessarily be direct sequels, but like we're going to get future Zelda games that directly reference the events of this game, like specifically refer back to this game. Um, we'll have games that take elements from the uh, elements from this story and build upon them, not just I don't think just taking them and mixing them around and redoing them like we had with the creation myth, but actually wanting to make it work with what we learned here. I can't say that there's never going to be any contradictions or that they're never going to retcon anything, but I think, and we'll try to call attention to it when we see it, and by all means shout out if you see anything either in support of this or against it as we're going through. But I think we're going to see a lot more of Nintendo trying to make the games fit together from this point on. Um, and and so I was looking up some dates, and we have this game came out in 1998. Uh, Majora's Mask, which we'll get to, I guess we'll start next week, came out in 2000, and there were a couple more Zelda games, but the official Zelda timeline that Nintendo's been reworking, there's issues with it, but they've been trying to put all the games together. Their version started at, at the latest 2003, probably earlier. So it's not. It wasn't too long after these games came out that Nintendo started wanting to try to put all the Zelda games together, and I think this game seems to have been the start of that. So I think with that, that'll be something that we can, like I said, we can look at that going forward if we see in future Zelda games anything that supports that idea, or if we see anything that we think uh, argues against that idea. Feel free to call it out and say, hey, I think you were wrong about that because look, here's this evidence here or something. Um, well, it'll just be something interesting to look at moving forward. How I think we'll see that the Zelda games start fitting together a little bit differently. And so with that, I think we're done here. And like I said, next week we should be starting Majora's Mask, and we'll be that one's going to be another fun one to get through. So thank you all for joining. Have a good week, and see you next time. Bye.